As we begin discussing public speaking, we can't help but consider how nervous it makes us feel. Even the most seasoned speakers find themselves with butterflies every once in a while. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't nervous about recording all of these lectures. In fact, I worked myself up to the tune of about 2 bottles of Tums. Why? If I were teaching you this information in the classroom, I'd feel excitement, not nervousness. What about this experience makes me feel so anxious then? Some of our fears are irrational, some are warranted. Some come from the thought of sharing in front of an audience. Other fears come from having to write this speech. A lot of what we fear has been taught. Anytime I tell a stranger what I do for a living, I teach public speaking. They say, "Ooh, I bet they hate that." Why would my students hate that? It's a natural reaction. My son in 1st grade, after being chosen the student of the week, came home to tell me he hated public speaking. How do you hate public speaking? Whatever the reason, public speaking anxiety is real, and it's something we should discuss. Part of understanding its cause would be in examining how public speaking differs from other types of communication. Friends will tell me all the time, I can talk all day in a board meeting, but if I have to give a presentation, it freaks me out. And this is warranted. A board meeting is a form of group communication. There are different dynamics in group communication. I find it very easy to make friends with the cashier at Walmart. This is interpersonal communication. Mass communication eliminates the listener feedback, and interpersonal communication is self-talk, probably the easiest and perhaps the most positive or critical of our communication. In this short video, I want to walk you through the transactional model of communication to better clarify what public speaking looks like, where it might make you anxious, and how it can empower you to understand what components you can control and learn to adapt. Within the transactional model of communication, there is a sender and a receiver. The sender in the public speaking model has an intended message that has been created specifically for the audience that is gathered. The audience could be a number of people, different backgrounds, groups, and associations. And for this reason, this message is sent through a channel, most often an auditory channel, sometimes visual. The audience is then asked to encode the messages they receive. They'll apply their own experiences and develop and create feedback to send to the speaker. This feedback could be verbal or nonverbal. The speaker will then decode based on what they know about the feedback they're receiving. If they're receiving puzzled looks, they might stop to expand. The message will then be adjusted and sent back to the audience. This is the transactional part of that. Know that a speaker must address noise. The noise can be physical, psychological, or physiological. And all of this is occurring in what Clella Jaffe would reference as the cultural frame. While the context is important, the cultural context is especially important. Those factors will influence how communication takes place. Understanding these components allows us to understand where and how public speaking may end nervous. Knowing too that these are the factors involved can empower us as well. We have the ability to embrace those components and find strategies that will give us more control. If it's the intended message, the noise, or even those bored looks from the audience, now you know and can work this semester to find strategies that will reduce that uncertainty. Remember too that the butterflies give us motivation, and asking them to leave might be a risk. Dr. Robert Guilford is quoted as saying, "It's okay to have butterflies, just make them fly in formation."